listening to the ASN Podcast Network.
All right, what's up, everybody? Thanks for being here tonight. Good to see everybody in their smiling faces. Happy Friday night. Best place to be on a Friday night is hanging out with us dorks over here. I'm sure all of y'all know that. We have with us, as always, LW, the mouth of Houston. How you doing over there, LW?
Good, buddy. Thanks for having me. Happy to be back again on the best show on Friday night. Looking to hang out with the fine people in the chat and have fun with this fantastic crew on panel.
Yeah, and you haven't died from the spider bite yet, so that is very encouraging for all of us.
We're close, but not yet.
Well, like I said before, don't do it on the stream, please. If so, just roll with it. We'll be all right.
I'll make sure I mute up.
Yeah, make sure you mute up before you die. And we got over here Miss Gutters Pub, the philanthropist and traveler Instagram star. Take it away, Gutters. How you doing?
Doing good. Just, over here praying that, our buddy don't lose his knee. Yeah.
Which one, his right knee?
But yeah.
His left knee?
Well, whichever knee
or
it is.
His wee.
All right. Well, we just went off the rails right off the
good jokes coming out right off the bat, folks. Coming at you strong. Down here, we do have KJ with us again, the world famous, studio recording artist. Here she is. How you doing, KJ?
Hey guys, doing good. Happy Friday. Yep, that's it.
Yeah, and you're having a garage sale tomorrow, is that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So, yep. Good old yard sale. Get rid of some stuff.
Oh, that should be interesting.
Yeah. So here's the address.
Right. Yeah. Put your address out there right now, please. I'm sure everybody would like to know that and show up at your house bright and early. All right. And down here we have Mr. Producer. We have Baker with us, as always, the man behind the scenes, doing a whole lot of good work for us. Baker, how you doing, brother?
Well, after extensive contract negotiations after being fired by Gutters last night, I'm happy to say that I'm doing better.
Well, that's good. Good to know. I know I had to call her and, we had to work out those kinks and get you back in here on, one of those big fights, but we may, we got those clips. We may air those one day and let everybody in on that one. Yeah, there was no Jello involved, but a lot of mudslinging. So
that's right.
So we do have a quite interesting topic going on tonight. We might have to kind of walk on our mind our P's and Q's, I think, but I think we can pull it off. But we're going to be talking tonight about how the Germans after World War II, specifically the Nazis, escaped and went into hiding in South America, which is a super super interesting topic, and it is part of history. So I guess I'll warn anybody out there, if you're sensitive to any kind of stuff, just don't watch. But if not, if you want to learn some stuff and talk about this with us, that would be super cool. And we will, as always, talk about this for a little while and then open up the lines if anybody does want to call in and give us their thoughts when we're done. So, anybody else got anything to add to that?
I can't say I do.
Well, what do we want to do? We're going to jump on in, or anybody else got any funny stories to tell before we get into this?
I mean, unless you want to talk about that CEO that got busted. I mean, there's nothing happening in the news.
Oh gosh, that was hilarious.
I bet that guy wants to escape to Argentina.
Yeah, that was pretty embarrassing. They're like, and he's like, they all just like straight down. She's like,
Another good reason to go camping, dummy.
Right. Like, why do you go like front row seats at what were they at? Was it a baseball game or
Coldplay?
Coldplay.
Yeah.
Why would you go to a Coldplay concert to start with?
That's the embarrassing part, not the fact that he got caught. He got caught at a
Oh man, I love Coldplay.
Yeah, what's worse, like getting caught, like cheating or getting caught at a Coldplay concert? It's like your buddies are like, you went to a Coldplay concert. He's like, I was. Yeah, they're just gonna razz you over that. Not anything else. But hey, we do want to say thanks to everybody that is coming in here already. Who we got in here? Gumby, we got Matt Dummett, Gixer in here, Dave Brown, the Bourbon Hunter. Good to see you, brother. Dozer's in here, Gutters in there. Good to see you in there, Gutters. Got Nightbot in there, and I'm sure we'll be saying hey to some people throughout the night. And I guess you can go on ahead. We could go on ahead and jump right into this, Baker, if you're ready.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and bring your screen up here, and we'll see what happens. So appreciate everybody being here. Please make sure you have hit the thumbs up, whether you are watching over on Gutters, whether you're watching here, LWs, whether you're over on X. We're happy to have all of you here. So appreciate you.
Kind of where we're at the beginning of when all this took place, right? Germany in 1945 was a pretty brutal place. If you want to put things in perspective, you know, you had famine going on. Their economy was in shambles. You still had Germany in control firmly of their country for the time being, but they were being rapidly descended upon. You had over 2.5 million troops from the Red Army coming in. They were obviously coming in from the east. You had General Bradley and General Patton coming in from the west. I mean, they were surrounded. And during this time, you had a lot of political turmoil going on. Once the Americans and the British forces were able to cross into Germany after dealing with fierce fighting, it wasn't about the war becoming an end. It was then becoming how are we going to deal with everything after the war's over? It was inevitable. I think the best way to describe what was really going on during this situation is it was just utter chaos. So if anybody's like me and you're in your 39s trying to get through this world, there's one thing that you transition into different areas in your life. You like the barbecue and you like World War II. And unfortunately, I did that when I was in my 20s. So everything that has been going on up to this point in Nazi Germany, I'm just spitballing this. This is mostly off of memory. So if I say something that's not historically accurate, I'm not a goddamn professor or a historian on this matter. So you know what? Correct me in chat and call me an idiot. That's fine. But anyways,
can we do that up here on the panel?
No, you guys aren't allowed to. It's in my contract. I negotiated it.
Okay, thanks.
That's
You
right.
can just take it out in editing later, whatever you
Right.
No,
The clown in.
post, right. But anyways, basically the start of the fall of the Third Reich really, I mean obviously it started when the Allies landed on Omaha Beach and marched forward and liberated France. I mean, that was a given, but the real start of this whole just whirlwind of downfall was in January of 1945. I mean, at this time, Hitler was drugged up out of his mind. He was making decisions that had made no sense whatsoever, but he still had absolute power. There were reports that he was even delusional and still going to his cabinet as if he's controlling this 2 million man army, when in reality he maybe had 1 million left. He got so desperate that he started conscripting 14-year-olds to help protect Berlin. And Joseph Stalin, he saw Berlin as kind of the golden jewel. That's what he wanted. He wanted to move forward into Berlin. He wanted to take over the Parliament building because he saw that as the central power of Germany. He wanted to move forward. He wanted to take it to the point that once they got up to the building and they were facing, lots of resistance from what was left of the German military, they just started lining up cannons and started peppering it with cannonballs just to knock the building down, or just to seize control. But at this point, citizens of Berlin were already moving to the west. Isn't that funny? And not to get political or anything, but if socialism and communism is so good, why weren't those folks in Berlin bleeding east? That just wasn't happening. They saw the inevitability of what was about to happen. They packed up their shit and they started moving west. They were surrendering themselves to the American army because that was they saw that as their only means of survival. So at this time, once Berlin was pretty much done and over with, this is where the story takes a turn. You have Adolf Hitler and Eva Braun, or I can't remember her name. What's her name again? I can care less about what she is because she was the mistress. But what was her name again, fools?
Ava.
Yeah. Ava. You get to the point where this story takes a turn because allegedly the story goes, and what we've all been taught is Hitler and Ava went and retreated down to their bunker. They married the day before, and then they took cyanide pills. I think this was April 30th of 1945. And they decided, yeah, we're done. We're going to commit suicide here. And then German officers came in after the fact and burned their bodies, right? That was how the story was taught to me as a kid. That was what every historical documentation that you see on the History Channel or Discovery Channel or whatever you want to say, that's what you're getting. But is that really the real story? And that's kind of what we're here to talk about today. Is there a possibility of another path that actually took place? Because at the end of the day, the crimes that the Nazis committed, even it's still talked about, and it's still politicized, even to today. I mean, what are we? We're like 80 something years removed from this war ending, and we're still politicizing this whole thing. So it's just one of those topics that we're discussing here today that I'll fully admit I don't know a whole lot about the conspiracy side of what was happening during this time and how everything worked through the bunkers and I think that didn't they possibly find a fraction of a skull that they later tested and it ended up being a possible woman's skull?
Yeah, they said it was too thin to be a male skull. But they later identified the bottom jaw, and they got his dentist. Apparently, he had X-rays in 1944, and they confirmed that was his jaw. But then there was some other conflicting test on that, so that's kind of like one of the things that are up in the air. Like, was it? So
right, and there was something there where they said because of the gunshot that his dental records and teeth and everything were so messed up that they couldn't tell. There's a whole thing. I think we should hit on that more towards the end anyway.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I'm bringing this up is because after allegedly the rumor spread or news got out that the Führer had died, right? They were the German officers that took over during the time, or the German generals that took over at the time, were still telling people to fight. They were still going forward and marching forward. It was inevitable that this was going to all collapse, yet they were still having people move forward and fight. And it's almost as if, were they fighting because they needed to make a quick getaway for somebody? Is that why they kept ordering people to just throw themselves in the line of fire? Were they creating diversions so that whatever contingency plans that was made, if the inevitability of this happened, was this a possibility that they were going to use the people of Germany as a distraction, a pawn, so to speak? So that's kind of where I think this story, to me, gets interesting, because what if that was the case? What if that's how that happened? So how did that work out? From what we know is through these operation networks called the rat lines. And at this point, I'm going to hand this off to L-Dub, because I think that he's more of a knowledgeable at this situation than I am.
And can I jump in there real fast too? I just wanted to ask, I guess Gutters and KJ, Gutters, have you heard of all this stuff before we started talking about this the other night, or are you new to all this?
I am pretty new to it, to tell you the truth. But
Okay.
I did do a little bit of investigation.
Right. But
Yeah,
before this,
yeah.
I just kind of like knowing, like, did you know that any of this stuff happened, or were you kind of shocked upon hearing it?
I was shocked. However, in saying that, my youngest son did lots of research in this. Him and his friends were obsessed with it for a while in high school. I was a little Larry there for a while, wondering why they were so obsessed with it. They just thought it was extremely interesting, and
The gutter youth.
so yeah, they kind of researched the whole thing, and it was each one of them, I think they ended up doing book reports on it. And
Nice.
so,
Well, what about you, KJ?
Yeah, I had no idea about all this. And, I've always been interested in the Holocaust and everything that happened. And this was quite disturbing to find out. I just never saw anything on it before. So it was, no clue.
Yeah, so I think people out there who don't know about all the stuff we're about to talk about, you're gonna find this really interesting. So anyway, LW, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to get their thoughts on that before
Oh no, you're good. But the rat lines Baker was talking about, the two primary ones that they used was from Germany to Spain to Argentina, and then Germany to Italy to Argentina. And the biggest two that took the most Nazi soldiers or sympathizers, Argentina took like about 5,000. These are all estimates, of course. Brazil, the second biggest, with like 2,000. Then you had Chile, Paraguay, Bolivia, were also other destinations. But yeah, and they had this relationship with the Argentina for years. After World War I, a lot of Germans migrated there because it was pretty tough in Germany, as we all know, after World War I. But Juan Perón, the president of Argentina, he didn't really come out and support Germany during World War II, but he was helping them. He was aiding them with, like right around 1940, they had a small Jewish population in Argentina, but right at like 1940, he was like, no more Jewish people can come into the country or whatever. But they pretty much claimed neutrality, but they sent spies to help Germany. They sent them to Spain, Italy, Switzerland, all over the place to try to help. And they actually would buy arms from Germany because Brazil was for the Allied forces, but they had some German population there, and about 5% of that German population that Brazil already had were kind of like pro-Nazi. So they bought a lot of arms from Germany because Argentina thought they were going to have a conflict with Brazil. But a lot of interesting stuff. So there was a built-in relationship for decades.
Now, was the buildup of German people or German culture, when do you think that actually started?
Oh, it was it's probably 20s, 30s.
Yeah, there was already a real big relationship there between Germany and especially Argentina and Brazil there. So there was already, there was probably 200,000 expats, I guess is what you would call it, living in Argentina, in that area, Argentina, Brazil, in that area already before even the start of the war. A lot of it probably had to do with post-World War I Germany, because there were already like somewhat of a refugee-like situation, people moving out, getting away because of the status of Germany at that point.
And the financial stuff, like the Treaty of Versailles and all that stuff. It was,
right.
Not a lot of great stuff going on there, but
well, I know like Mercedes had like auto factories down there. It just seems like it was becoming very Germanized, just like when America became a world power, people started to want to mimic what America was. You saw, in the 50s and 60s, you saw McDonald's popping up everywhere, right?
And that was the downfall of it all.
Exactly.
Right. Thanks to the clown. It's all blame it on the clown. So I think that made, all this stuff we're about to talk about, so much more possible. Their relationship was so close already, and there was so many Germans already living in South America that it kind of tied together.
Oh yeah, Argentina, they dispatched, like I said, spies for Germany and Spain and all over,
Well, it gives this whole conspiracy some validity, right? It's possible. It's very plausible that this is actually what went down. When
Baker speaks of this conspiracy, everything that we're about to talk about up until the end is not conspiracy. It's 100% factual. This is, none of this that we're talking about to get into. This is all real, history, factual information. We do kind of have a conspiracy at the end, tied in with the big man, but all this stuff here that we're about to go into and speak about these people, that's all factual. So anyway. You want to keep going, LW?
Yeah, one of the guys, Klaus Barbie. Yeah, this guy here. But he was known as the Butcher of Lyon, and that was a city in France where he was the expert on torturing prisoners, mostly Jews, but a lot in the French resistance and stuff like that. But after the war, the U.S. intelligence hired him and helped him escape to Bolivia, where they used him for like anti-communist stuff. And he was basically a guy who helped Bolivia. He was like teaching them on how to torture people. Like if there was any resistance in Bolivia to try to overthrow the government, he was paid to teach them how to capture these people and torture them to kind of quell any uprising. You know what I mean? But,
yeah, he was a pretty horrible person.
Yeah, none of these people are delightful. You wouldn't invite them over. You wouldn't invite them over for Sunday dinner. But yeah, and French. The French had Nazi hunters. I mean, he was free for 30 years. The French spent 30 years looking for this guy before they finally caught him.
Yeah, and he was in, like you can see a little timeline there. He was in France, and he was actually working for the United States as an intelligence agent. Right. And we harbored him and helped him get to Bolivia. And I guess France was wanting, they were trying to, what do they call it, expedite and get him back. And they turned him down because Argentina and I think Brazil and Bolivia, they didn't sign the agreements because they were a neutral party to turn these people over. So they harbored these people and they wouldn't turn them over to the French government. Now, is this the one that the Mossad come and got? Is that this guy?
No, this was pretty much the French, and he got sent back where he died in prison in France. He stood trial and he died, I think, just natural causes in prison.
Okay.
But yeah, he was he supposedly bragged about he was the one that orchestrated all the stuff against like Che Guevara and all this stuff. Like these people lived a long time after World War II.
Yeah, this was him just like chilling out on a boat, riding around, having a good time down there, just living these normal lives after committing all these atrocities. And right underneath, like I said, he worked with the United States because we do, like everybody does know that us and the Soviet Union and, everybody, we were all battling over who could get these ex-Nazi scientists, these invented, like the spies and everything like that, who could get them because that was the start of the Cold War at the same time. So we wanted their technology. Russia or Soviet Union at the time wanted their technology. So everybody was fighting over who was going to take these people. Argentina wanted it as well. So they were harboring them down there. They got probably most of the worst ones, Yeah,
and these Brazil was, or Argentina was, they were very sympathetic to that type of regime, they liked it. They were trying to model themselves after what that was. So they wanted these people there. Yeah, the good old Nazi draft.
That's crazy.
About it.
Right, exactly. Yeah. What do you think about that, KJ? I mean, is that not crazy?
I mean, that's completely disturbing. That's
And then you had this guy, Josef Mengele. Now
this is a tough one here with this guy.
Yeah, this is like probably one of the worst people to ever walk on Earth. He was a mad scientist, so to speak, I guess.
Yeah.
I like their names too. Like he went under Helmut Gregor, and he was one of the people. See, and let's back up a little bit too, just so everybody understands. These rat lines, what they were doing was they were taking these people. They basically went into hiding, and they were being funneled into like Italy and Spain, and they were given under the International Red Cross was actually supplying them with passports, fake passports in different names to travel out. So they were going through these different ports and traveling to get away. So the Red Cross was signing off on these passports, sending these people. I mean, it was just like all these organizations that you would think would never do this. Yes, they were doing this and sending them down to where these people could get away.
Yeah, and there is one thing. It wasn't like very immediate in 1945 either. Like Mengele here, he kind of like was on the run throughout Europe for about 4 years before he went to South America. So it wasn't like he was just like, boom, he went straight there, you know?
Mm-hmm. And now he was the one that was responsible for doing all the weird medical testing on the Jewish people in the in Auschwitz. I think in Auschwitz and all that, he was using them, and he was the one that was big into the twins, you know, trying to make people have twins because they were trying to create the perfect race, and they figured, you know, the more twins that a mother could have, the better off they would be. And there's all this, like, I guess, where was it, in Brazil or somewhere down there where this town he lived in is like has the most twins anywhere in the world. But he kept his experiments and doing all of that in South America. He kept going, practicing as a doctor down there and experimenting on all kinds of people down there as well.
Yeah. And, you know, just back real shortly, but he actually was caught by the United States and Europe when he was on the run for like 4 years. And I guess he was one of the few SS, like, big guys who didn't have the certain SS tattoo. And he had like a fake ID already and talked his way out of it. But they had him and they just let him go.
Yeah, they could never seem to get him. It was like
this guy was this guy. They could not, when he was in South America, when the Mossad was looking, you know, when everybody was looking for him. This guy, he was a sneaky little dude.
Yeah, and he was like on the top most wanted list, you know, like for the longest time. And he ended up dying in Brazil, you know, old on the beach, hanging out, swimming in the ocean, and had a stroke swimming in the ocean. So he managed to live out the rest of his life in Argentina, Paraguay, and Brazil.
Yeah.
And died in 1979. So, I mean, you think that's not even that long ago.
Yeah, and he had no like medical license. He was down there performing abortions. I mean, he was just a complete psycho. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, not the best person. It's hard to imagine. Like, here's him chilling out. I think this picture was in Brazil, but him just chilling out, like, it looks like a normal, you know, family barbecue, even though it does kind of look like, you know, he's hanging out with Jim Jones or something. But
that's exactly what I was going to say, that cult leader, dude.
Right. Yeah, but I think that's Elvis next to him over on the left.
Oh my gosh.
If anyone earned their nickname, it was this guy, the Angel of Death. You know what I mean?
Oh,
it was just
horrible.
This must be a picture of him on Epstein Island that they're trying to cover up.
right.
Right, exactly.
Gosh.
Would totally be it. But yeah, I mean, this shows how naturally they went on and just lived out their lives down there and not even, you know, worrying about any of this stuff. It's, you know, pretty crazy to think about that they could get away with that, but they were being harbored by these countries, you know, and the people around them, because they were able to move into what was already a Germanized civilization.
Well, and this picture, I think, tells, you know, how they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. I mean, just looking at this picture, do you think any of those folks have any idea what he did or who he was? You know, I think that this cover-up went even deeper than even most citizens of that country knew. I mean, everybody's just fat and happy there and just like nothing's wrong, just another happy day, la-di-da.
Yeah.
Right. It's, yeah, kind of just ridiculous they were able to do that. I mean, what do you think about this, Gutters?
I definitely think there's some questions, a lot of questions, but there's just too many questions to not think something else has gone on. I don't know. But
Yeah. I mean, just the list of things this guy did when they sent him to Auschwitz to run that. I mean, it was when they brought people in, it was pretty much 60% children. They would just send right off to death because they wanted people for the work camps. If pregnant women, straight to death. You know, older people, and it was just by like sight. They were just like, you're probably not going to be a good worker. Straight to death. It was wild. And if people came in sick, like young guys, like 20, 25, whatever, if they came in sick, they gave them 2 weeks. They were like, you got 2 weeks to get healthy. If not, you're going. I mean, it's pretty awful stuff.
Imagine that Monty Python, I'm not dead. Oh, you will be shortly enough. I feel better. I think I want to go for a walk.
God, I love Monty Python.
Yeah, exactly. The guy was absolutely horrible. All right, take it away, LW. Here's you another one.
Now, this is El Jefe. This is kind of the big boss man. He was kind of the organizer of everything, setting up the camps, who's going to work at the camps, like our friend here, the Angel of Death. But he was pretty much the main guy. And the thing about him, what's interesting about him, he was kind of the same way. He took about, I think, 5 years before he got to South America. And the Mossad, they were after him for years. And it's interesting how he got caught. He changed his name. And how he got caught was his son didn't change his name down there. And his son fell in love with a lady. She was German, but I guess her father was in the camps. So her father heard her new boyfriend's name and was like, well, I know that person. And that's how it all started on how he got caught. And the Mossad, it was like 11 Mossad agents who kind of orchestrated the whole thing. They followed him, took pictures of him, and he was the only one that was sent to Israel for trial.
Yeah, they went in like gangbusters, and basically they didn't care about the extradition rules. They didn't care about any of that. They went in and kidnapped them and just took them. Mossad did, and they went in. Yeah, they just took them away against Argentina's wishes and all that.
Yeah, there's actually pictures of them they took where they put these like big goggles over him, and they taped the goggles over so he couldn't see where he was going. And the whole trial in Israel is on YouTube. Anybody can watch it if they want. But yeah, that's the big man there.
He's also the one that was employed by Mercedes-Benz, and he worked in an auto factory.
Exactly. That's what he was doing when they caught him.
Imagine that, working for Mercedes. A German working for Mercedes? Never would have thunk it.
Right.
And that's, I think you got another, let's see. Don't we have a picture of him in a car or something like that or something? Just, chilling. Yeah, I mean, here he is outside the factory, just, chilling out, having a normal time, living his life. And he was like one of the most sought after people ever. I mean, all three of these, and these are the only three examples we only want to put up because, we could go on and on. There's tons of these people that were on these lists and, being hunted after. But it just shows you that how easy it was maybe it wasn't that easy, but they all made it and managed to everybody cover up them, live their lives out, for the most part, and get away with all this.
Well, besides, some of them being paid by United States intelligence communities, how do you think they funded and how do you think they were picked to be the ones to escape? Like there had to have been some pre-planning involved. I'm sure they got around with some of their stolen artifacts and stolen arts and gold that they have plundered Europe.
That had been going on for years. Yeah. There was actually, I forget his name, but he was like, while Hitler was planning the whole time for victory, his right-hand man was planning for defeat. And he had actually set up all these shell companies all around Europe and South America and all this stuff. And they were, what are those bonds called? Don't really have much anymore. What were those bonds where people would just basically whoever had it in their hand, had control of those?
You're not talking war bonds.
No, not war bonds, but they were. I'm trying to think of the name of them, but I can't remember. But anyway, they were taking out a lot of those bonds, and they were funneling all this money into these shell companies to set up. And I mean, we're talking millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars that the Germany was funneling into all these shell companies in case they didn't win. So it wasn't like this plan had been going into effect for a long time. It actually had a name. What was the name of it? It was oh man, I'm having a brain fart here. Katie, I sent it to you earlier. What was it?
Oh yeah.
What was the name of that? Operation Eagle Flight is what it was. So they actually had this whole plan already set up for this to happen and the money to be there for these people. Bearer bonds. Thank you, Vincent Vega.
Bearer bonds. Yep.
Yeah, bearer bonds.
Yeah, and Argentina was working on both scenarios too. You know, to pay back Argentina for helping them out with the spies and stuff like that during the war. Argentina and Germany agreed to all these great trade deals for after the war's over. Also, while setting up all this, you know, if you don't win, you come here, you know. So they were all preparing for both sides of the coin.
Yeah, and it just, you know, shows that they were able to make it happen. And here, like, you can see this. This is, where was this picture taken? Do you remember, Baker? Was this?
I don't.
I think this one's in Argentina. But you can see how even, like, still to this day, I mean, like, Oktoberfest is a huge thing there. There's huge German population still there. I mean, this is 2015. But it's neat to see, like, Fiesta Nacional de Cerveza, you know, Oktoberfest, Nila General Belgrano, Coca-Cola, you know, you always got to the Coca-Cola in there. But it, you know, you can see the way that it's still, you know, the German presence is still like a big thing there.
You would think they would denounce it after, you know, all this came out. It's like, hey, by the way, you might not be so proud of this when we tell you the truth.
But you know, they still love their lineage down there. The German people do. So
I've seen people who've gone down there to investigate it, do interviews about it, and they would go into little restaurants or stuff like that, and it would everybody would be German, and they would talk to them in Spanish just because they were in Argentina or whatever, you know, just, and they would correct them and speak German. They would have places where they only spoke German, you know, and they were like, this is crazy. I come to Argentina and like half the places I go, people only speak German.
Yeah, I mean, and here's like another. Is this Argentina as well?
Yeah, it's still Argentina. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, there's the flag. Yeah, I mean, this is the architecture of these towns in Argentina, which is, you know, obviously looks like Heidi should be running down the road.
Right.
No, I think it's important to also bring up the fact that, you know, these countries that these, you know, officers and these high-ranking officials fled to, they went to countries that were absolute Nazi sympathizers. Mm-hmm. And they wanted their countries to be mirrored after what the Nazis were doing in Germany. They wanted that industry. They wanted that technology. They wanted all of that. So I think it's important to bring that up because I think that plays into why ultimately these countries gave them asylum. Why they just didn't officially give them asylum and say, "Now you can't come in here if you come in here and take out one of our citizens." That's a you know, act of war. They didn't go that far. It's kind of interesting how that dynamic actually took place.
Well, the CIA and the Mossad, those are. Oh, sorry.
No, sorry. Just real quick. Just a little old me. Appreciate the super sticker there. Much appreciated. Anything like that is always appreciated. Also, big shout out to Harley Dan. I think he said member for 15 months earlier. Thank you guys very, very much. It is much appreciated. Thank you so much. Sorry. Go ahead, LW.
Well, I was just going to say Mossad and CIA, you know, those are some bad mofos. I don't think it would have mattered if they did say, hey, these are our citizens now, you can't come get them, you know. Those Mossad agents, they were in there and nobody even knew.
Yeah, they don't. Mossad's not exactly gonna really care about that. They kind of make their own rules. I think we've found that out over and over and over again. But you know, that's for a different time. That's Tuesday night, folks, over on Gutter's Pub channel. Tuesday night, we'll talk about that kind of stuff. Not over here.
Yes, that's correct.
And like here's, you know, artifacts, you know, that were found. Where were these found in the basement of some house recently in Argentina. They were going through cleaning it out, and it's like, this was just a random thing, just showing these people brought this with them. They didn't necessarily just leave this mindset behind. They, in their minds, wanted to create the Fourth Reich.
Yeah.
Speaking of Fourth Reich, are we ready to talk about the big fish?
Well, I think, don't we go into the, I don't know which way we go. You keep flipping, brother.
All right, here we go.
All right. So, now here we are onto this one. So we've got this guy, and he obviously, obviously horrible person. So, he was a soldier, World War I. That's, and then the interesting history to look at the way the whole thing happened. But after the end of World War I, he offered to the German people who were living in poverty, totally sanctioned, they were, what they say, you couldn't even hardly afford a loaf of bread. I mean, they were starving to death. The country was totally under sanctions. All their factories had been taken over. They were doomed, and he came up out of nowhere to bring them back, and they all fell in line. So I think we talked about it at the beginning, but he, the original story was that as the Soviets were moving in, he was in the bunker in Berlin, and him and Ava took cyanide pills and then proceeded to off themselves, and their fellow people who were looking after them took them outside, put them in a grave or in a hole with a bunch of other people, dumped gasoline all over them, and lit them on fire. And that's the story that was told and is in the history books. And if you question that, you are a fool, is kind of the way they've always put it to you. Like, no, in the story, that's that. I'm going to add to that, LW. Moving on with it.
Well, the interesting thing about the timeline with that, what was it, Baker? You said April 30th, or it was like May 2nd or something?
That was April 30th of 1945 was when he died.
So you have kind of like two things going on here. The Soviet Union says, okay, we have his skull, and he's dead. But then just in May of that, a month later, Stalin sent out George Zhukov. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but we'll go with it.
Zhukov. Imagine having a name like that. You think he got
Zhukov? But he sent him to do a press conference to say that that he escaped Berlin and that he's at large. And then later in the summer in July, Stalin was at some sort of conference, and he said, he escaped. He's either in Italy or he's in South America. So you have the Soviet Union, who is conflicting stories after they said he was dead. And of course, America, they said, oh, that's all misinformation by the Soviet Union. So there's where the big, kind of controversy is like, well, who's telling the truth here? What's true, what's not true? And that this conspiracy leads to what we just talked about, all the Nazis going to South America and living, a lot of them, for 30, 35 more years,
Yeah, and so the conspiracy out there, now we're not stating this as fact. Right. Can you go back to that other one there, Baker? So the conspiracy here is, and there was, eyewitness, people always say eyewitness testimonies to these things and all that there was a U-boat that we supposedly said that we sunk, but was never found. No, it's been searched for it. Nobody could ever find it. We knew exactly where it was. It was one of those, here we go. We sunk it there. So in the middle of the night, there was a submarine, a U-boat that showed up in Argentina. And, people were eyewitness, still swore, years and years later that he was on that boat. And they said, people who say that thing, they're like, no, the Argentine government, Navy came, they took the people off, no record of him being there. And they're like, so enough said. But you're like, wait a minute, they were harboring all these people. Do you really think they would have said, Oh, of course he was. You know, of course they would never say that.
Right.
So it's just a weird story to believe that you can't question that. Like one of the most, horrible people who ever lived on the earth, you're just going to believe that, the skull fragment, they're like, oh, here's our proof. And they finally tested, what was it? Just a few years ago, they tested it and they're like, no, this is from a woman. This isn't even a man's skull.
Right.
And the CIA, everybody was looking for, we had constant searches, our government did, which was, when was that? 2022 or 2020? And not even that long ago either. Those records were released that we had 20 to 30 years we'd been looking for him. And it's kind of crazy. So you can go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. Somewhere I'd read, I had a thought. Somewhere I'd read is that the Soviet Union actually had the majority of his remains, had him locked away and had him hidden away, and nobody knew until after the fall of the Berlin Wall that information even existed. So this stuff is, I still think that there's still mysteries to unravel, at least on that aspect. So why would they take the remains when they said that there wasn't any, and then all of a sudden, oh yeah, here's a skull?
Well, they did get, like we said earlier, they did get Hitler's dentist. Apparently, he took X-rays of his teeth in 1944, I think. Then the jaw that they had, his dentist matched it up and said, yeah, that's him. And then it was given to other people to test, and these people would say, well, no, those don't match up. And then it would give them to somebody else, and then they said it would match up. So it's all these conflicting tests too, that everybody kind of goes with the original. His dentist confirmed it. So that's the official story.
Well, we know the government never lies.
Yeah, the government never lies. Plus, you have to think about it. They needed closure more than anything on this. They needed the people to be humbled. They needed closure on this. They couldn't go back and tell people, well, wait a minute, maybe he is still. Imagine like the turmoil that would have came from that. All these people, we had just won this war. We had just, it was all over. He's gone. Thank God we have defeated, the most horrible regime ever. You know what I mean? And they didn't want to bring that back up and say, well, there might be a possibility, and you think about it, back then, there was no internet. There was no anything like that. Whenever the newspaper told you or you heard on the radio, that was it. So,
well, I found some polling from back in that time. And apparently there's a couple different polls, anywhere from 68 to 75% of Americans at that time thought that he escaped. The American people didn't, at the time, I guess, really believe it much either. I guess they did eventually, but right after the war, they weren't too sure,
Well, yeah, you hear something enough, you're just going to go ahead and believe it. But,
right.
It's kind of crazy. So, okay, so this image here, this to me is pretty interesting. This is a house known as, I guess they would call it, Casa de Hitler, like the locals. And, they swore, and this is, I'm trying to think where this is. This is in Patagonia, Argentina, right outside. I don't know how you say the name. It's like Angostura or something like that. So this was on a lake, and they started building this complex in, I think, what year was it? Was it 43 or 44? Right in there. And this is where the conspiracy theories come in, that he lived out a long time of his life. I've got, which is pretty interesting here, I've got a drone shot of this complex that I can bring up right now. So let me pull this down and bring this up. So this is pretty cool. I'm going to kind of skip through it a little bit because it is a slow drone shot. But this wasn't just a house. And the only way to get to this at the time was by boat. So there was no roads leading to this. There was nothing. The only way to get here was by boat. And there was guard towers. There was, everything. So you can kind of see right here, if you look at it, pretty neat. I'll speed it up too. So this wasn't like a place for just one person. There was obviously, everything was here for farms to be self-sufficient to where people wouldn't have to get out. There was, huge barns built, multiple houses. I think there's a schoolyard. There's everything. Why was this built in 1944? All the locals and the local lore, these people go and look this out, and they're like, where was, Hitler's house? And they're like, oh, it's over there. You got to go through the woods. That's where he lived. Yeah, all the locals, all the thing that was always the thing. They were like, yeah, he lives, and that's where he went, right there. And this is pretty cool. Somebody actually took a drone and flew over this complex. And this is still here to this day. But this was built in 1944, 43 or 44, right before the mass exodus of all these people leaving there.
So
and those
cool.
aren't the type of homes that were normal to Argentina, right? Those are more like the German style.
It's totally German architecture. Yeah, totally German style homes.
Completely.
And they were kind of standouts to the rest of the country. So.
Well, you couldn't even get to it. The normal people couldn't even get there.
Yeah.
Because you had to go, at the time, the only way to get there was by boat. And, I think that's, this is more to it than something being built for just a nobody in 1944 in the middle of the, woods in Argentina on a lake. So, it makes you think, like, who, and, according to local folklore, and what they always said was, that's who lived there.
Right.
Well,
Didn't you say they called him like the boss, Yeah.
Yeah, they was like, who lives there? And they would say, the boss. The boss lives there.
Well, I think they also ended up finding some gun turrets around there, didn't they? They had some protection.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't
What a
like
cool
it
place
wasn't
to
like you
live.
just moved there.
You want to live there, Gutters?
I do. What a cool place to live.
In Hitler's house?
Yes. Hell yeah.
She wants to desecrate it.
I don't think it'd be the
It's
the
a
best.
cool house.
Yeah, anyway, so there's that drone shot. I thought that was cool, and it just gave you like the whole look of the complex itself and how, how actually big it was. Apparently somebody's recently bought it and is totally renovating it. So that
Yeah,
could
will
be-
you renovate it for me? I buy
Yeah.
it.
No, thanks. You got the money, Gutters. You're the rich one. Anyway, pretty cool house. In the whole scheme of things, but and that is totally a conspiracy theory. We're not saying that was totally true. For all we know, history's right. We're not like trying to go down that road, but it is a definite plausible theory to look at and go, oh wow, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, when 99% of everything else we talked about is historical fact, this is the only small percentage that is just kind of a theory.
Right. And it not outlandish to think it could have been possible.
Right.
Yeah, especially when you look at the other 99% of the stuff, it's like, oh, it was all kind of there for him to do it,
Yeah, everybody else could get away but him. I don't know.
Right. The boss didn't get away.
Well, the thing that got me is that they threw him with everybody else and burned the bodies. Like, yeah, I don't think so. That doesn't even.
Yeah, there was no proof of anything. It was all the Soviet Union. They came in, and found him there, and the German soldiers said, "Yep, there he is, burned."
And you got to, you got to think too. He had how many body doubles did he have? Probably dozens and dozens. There's no telling who they thought that might have been.
Yeah, they doused him in gas and burned it, and they were just like, "Oh no, that's him," and that's the official end of story. Okay, it all ended there. The Soviet Union held on to all their proof until 2020 or 2022 or something was the first time they let all that even get tested.
Yeah,
and it came back as a woman's skull, not even a man's. So
Typical.
I know. So Baker, you want to take this one?
Yeah, so me being a map loving guy, I found some of this to be pretty interesting. If you're looking at the image on the left, that is a perceived image of how Nazi Germany was going to carve up South America when they won the war. They assumed they were going to get world dominance. So the image on the left is how they were going to carve it up, how they're going to divvy out the countries, or I don't know what they were going to call them. Maybe they were going to be different German states. I have no idea how they were going to do it, but this was fascinating. I think Fools ended up finding this gem, and I haven't got a chance to really dive into this rabbit hole, because if anybody's ever seen that one show that was on Amazon Prime when it first came out, Man in a High Castle, I think it was, that kind of gives you a different altered timeline of the Germans winning and them carving up America and how they carved up different aspects of the world. And that's what this reminds me of. And that just kind of fascinates me, is the what if aspect. And then, so the image on the right kind of shows today how the German ancestries kind of split out. You can see sort of kind of where the Andes Mountains are at. You can see how that big red spot kind of in the middle southern tip, kind of on Chile coast, all into Argentina, how that's has a heavy German ancestry. What's interesting about this, the geographical area of this is very similar to Germany. If you go look at images and other, like if you go to Google or Google Maps and go to Street View and just kind of just click around, I mean, it has a lot of the same features that Germany itself. So it's no wonder they ended up settling here. It was just like going to their southern home. It was the same thing. Brazil kind of in the same boat, except that was more kind of like a central Germany kind of, way, like the farmlands kind of area. So anyways, that's what these two pictures depict.
It's interesting that they, I can't quite read those names on there from where I'm sitting at. What do those say?
Which names on the map?
Yeah, on the map. What is this? Brazil? Is this like everything's Ein?
Yeah, I don't know. They changed the names to reflect that. Maybe that's what they call them in their native tongue, or that's what they were going to call them.
I think that's what they were going to call them. That's the point of it. I think it was like, I'm so far away from the thing, and it's Brazilian or something, Argentine.
Brazilian.
Right. Changing it all up. But it's interesting to think that they already had that in plan, and that was their goal, and they were already taking over. So take the one on the right there, Baker. What do you think about that?
Well, again, we're looking at different ancestries, different where they settled, where they colonized, pretty much. I'm curious if the South America infusion of German food, what that tastes like. I'd be curious. I'm a foodie. What can I say?
Yeah.
I don't know. I wonder if it's like sauerkraut and beans.
Sauerkraut. Tacos. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Maybe that's a topping on a taco.
Maybe it is.
Some, what are those strudels or something like that?
Yeah. So LDub found this one. I tried to do some more research on it. I couldn't find much. LDub, do you have any other additional information of this document that was declassified? It looks like in September 21st of 2018.
Not much. That's pretty much all there is to it. But it's just kind of confirming that through a lot of different leads that the United States government had, that he was down there. There was even some German people that contacted the United States, some people from South America. There's just a lot of people. They had a lot of leads to go on, and they went down there, just like we were talking about the French Nazi hunters and Mossad searching for these guys, and these guys would just slip out of everything and go to Paraguay, or they would just moved all over South. They just always missed them, and United States was one of them. They just could not get their hands on these slippery dudes. Sorry. But yeah, it's just kind of proof of, that we knew about, the government knew about this conspiracy theory.
And lied about it.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
what do
you're never going to find out anything any truth in real time, you got to wait 20, 25 years, you know?
Yeah, but what do you think the governments of the world gained by covering this up? Like Operation Paperclip, obviously we know about that and how they kind of started the whole space shuttle program with the Saturn rockets and the V2 rockets, beam technology and whatnot. But what do you think that they would have gained from this?
Yeah, we would have never have allegedly gotten to the moon without them.
Oh, allegedly.
Well, I don't think that. I don't think they will. I mean, they want to hide from the people that they actually wanted to hire Klaus Barbie, the torture king. You know, that would probably go over badly with the American people. You know, so they I guess they felt they had to hide it. Which, you know, why would any American think that would be a good idea to hire a guy, somebody you just went to war with, and your American soldiers died for? You know, they probably wouldn't take it well. So I guess they felt they had to cover it up.
Yeah, and also with, like, you know, his death, like we were talking about before. I mean, they needed closure. They needed closure on this. They needed the people to feel crumbled. They needed that movement to be over. They, you know, like, to go back and bring it up and say, well, maybe he's still out there. You know, what would that do to the public?
Right.
I mean, kind of winning was defeating him, so to speak, in the minds of most people. You know what I mean? I mean, most of the you know, there were so many of the soldiers that had no idea. You know, you just go off to war. You know what I mean? You're drafted in, put in the thing, told, hey, you got to go fight. You know, a lot of those people were just people, but the people on top were the you know, horrible, evil people. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But you know, von Braun, you know, the Operation Paperclip, or, you know, they didn't tell the American people that, you know, he killed the slowest worker, the slowest factory worker every month. You know, they didn't really let the people know about all the dark history with that guy either.
Well, what about eugenics programs that they you know, they tested on, you know, people in Auschwitz? I mean, it's just disgusting stuff. They let that stuff out. I mean, we knew about that stuff. Like, they want to tell about the atrocities, but, oh, by the way, we may or may not be using these as consultants.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that goes back to the Mengele, you know, like Traveling Fool said, that he was obsessed with twins, dwarfs, and people with two different eye colors. And they would separate these people from the rest of the prisoners, who were treated like awful, you know. But these people, the twins, the dwarfs, and all these people with two different eye colors, whatever, they were housed and they were treated well. They were fed well. They were given medicine. They would, the kids were given candy, so much so that the people in there liked Mengele. They called him Uncle Yosef. But later, that's the creepy part. But later, then he killed him, you know, and did all these crazy tests on him. But that's one of the creepiest part of that guy.
That's horrifying.
Yeah, it's just sick, twisted
Yeah.
stuff.
So what's your take on all this, KJ? Like, you know, I kind of like it when, you know, sometimes people on the panel, they don't know a lot about this stuff beforehand. Right. I mean, you know, kind of how do you look at all
I mean, when it's totally believable, it just reminds me of what an ant I really am in this, you know, that we all are, really. And that that something like that could actually have happened, and it's not the topic in, you know, society, and never was.
Did you know that all these people were harbored? And
no, 100% no. I mean, I've seen a thing where, like, this, you know, war criminal was prosecuted, just, you know, something like that, but not, no, never. I would have never
ever
thought
have thought that the angel of death lived out his life and died swimming in the ocean on a beach?
No, I think that pisses me off. Like,
right, it's horrible.
It just reminds me that we're ants, which that's just the way it is. But yikes.
Well, what's amazing is how dedicated the people that still, those whatever they're called, whether it was his soldiers or whatever their names were, that was there with him to the bitter end. They were very dedicated to him. I mean, the doctor there lived in the same house with him right up until he died, they said. And then
wasn't it like Parkinson's? Is that what?
Yeah, he had suffered from that for years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was the thing too, that like all the eyewitness accounts, the people who go and say, from these towns down there, they're like, and occasionally you would see them, or they would have to go and do work at, these places or something. Right. And it'd be like the man with the shaking hand and the cane and the, it was like everybody feared, this thing was like, like don't go near him.
Seriously.
And don't talk about him, and don't, and that's what these people say down there. Now, I'm not saying that's fact. I mean, people can just make up stories, whatever. But, obviously people can make up stories. And
sure,
if one side can make up stories, so can the other side of history.
Yeah.
Right.
The truth will set you free.
Right. Right. Exactly. I mean, we all know the government never lies. That,
Right. That's
of course
that's something we learn year after year as time goes on. Is that the official story? Really?
Yeah. So which official story are we going with?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So Gutters, what about you? What do you think about it all?
Oh, I truly believe he lived another 17 years after 19, whatever it was, 43.
5.
Yeah. My mother was born in 43.
Okay, blame it on your mom's birthday. I got you. Yeah, pretty crazy stuff, though. I think it's a very interesting topic, and fun to discuss over. I hope YouTube doesn't hate us too bad for talking about this tonight. They're pretty picky, but I think we kind of did it in a way that wasn't too awfully bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we weren't pro these guys, so
No.
I think we're good.
Yeah, it's the conspiracy talk at the end that they seem to throw little flags and the Wikipedia underneath the stream every time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens, but fun topic to talk about. What do you think, Baker?
I think the Nazis were bad. Okay.
Exactly. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I think if we have to be titled with the Wikipedia underneath our videos, then we're doing it right.
Yeah, it's probably gonna come. It seems like it normally does. Almost every video I watched on this has that underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember which show I did, or maybe it was one of these or one I did, but I got my first Wikipedia correction on there.
Yeah, I saw that. I've gotten one before too on Flat Earth that just somebody just mentioned it and we were making fun of it, and next thing I know, underneath it's all this Flat Earth talk underneath. I'm like, what the heck? Yeah, Dave, I agree. Kind of shocks me that younger generations didn't already know this, but I understand it's simply a re-emerging story. Yeah, I know, Dave, and that's kind of why we wanted to cover it, because we didn't think maybe a lot of people even knew about this. Or
that wasn't taught in history, you know.
Not this part, no. But I mean,
No.
Yeah. I never.
No, in history, he died in 1945.
Right.
Along with all the other ones, we didn't go and recruit all them for our space programs and scientists, and all that. That didn't happen. What was that, Operation Paperclip, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And I mean, that's a factual thing. I mean, everything other than the little conspiracy we said at the end is 100% factual.
Mm-hmm.
And the other is just a floating conspiracy that is out there, and we throw it out there. So, not that we're saying we agree with it, but believe what you will.
We report, you decide.
Well,
Right.
yeah, it's what you're thinking is basically where we're going.
Mm-hmm.
Just to think, not one way or the other, but
Right, 100%. Do we want to drop the link and see if anybody wants to come and give their thoughts?
Absolutely.
Yep. Let's
All
give
right,
this
cool.
baby some call-in time.
Yeah, maybe somebody does, maybe they don't. We can talk about it for a few minutes longer if nobody wants to jump on and tell us their thoughts about it. But if people want to, they're more than welcome. We'll bring one person up at a time so it doesn't turn into an absolute chaotic, we all know how that goes. Yeah, so if you want to drop that in yours over there, Gutters, and LW as well, if you want to.
Okay.
Yeah, and don't forget to subscribe to their channels. The Nightbot is bringing up their channels every so often. So if you're new here and you're just joining us, we do have the panel guests, panel hosts here have their own channels. So don't forget to subscribe.
Yeah, and this is streaming out. Like I said, it is streaming out live over on LW's channel, live over on Gutters Pub. We're live on X as well. So anywhere that everybody is watching, we really do appreciate y'all. If you could hit the thumbs up buttons, subscribe to the different channels. Nightbot's throwing all this stuff out there as well. Sub up everybody, show a little support. The like button is free, and it does help, these streams get out there to other people. So we do appreciate everybody being here on a Friday night talking about crazy shit like this.
And earlier today, I watched a good singing video from Mrs. KJ up there. So,
Oh man, thanks.
if y'all like,
Check it out.
if y'all like a good singing voice, definitely sub to her.
Yeah, I know. I saw that too. I actually hit the thumbs up button on that earlier today too, KJ. So one of those,
Oh, cool.
one of those
Thank
is
you.
me. KJ's got a new channel.
Yay, really? Oh,
So yeah, everybody sub up. Make
Cool.
sure you sub up to everybody. That would be super cool. Show everybody a little bit of love.
They do
So
have my expensive salary to cover now, so just forget that.
Yeah, make your salary. We pay him in peanuts. He likes peanuts.
isn't KJ in the Nightbot thing?
Is the KJ?
I thought she was, but I don't. For some reason, it's not coming up. But Nightbot is dropping her link, so it does come up on there.
Oh.
I have seen.
awesome.
What is it? Because I just tried and it didn't work.
Well, Nightbot's just dropping it periodically, Gutters.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why. There must be some glitch with it, and I got to go back in there. It was on there. I don't know. Maybe I got to figure it out. So,
You got to spank it. Got it.
right.
Nightbot. You got to spank Nightbot.
Yeah, and Gutters Pub is only, like Dave Brown's saying, Gutters Pub is only 9 away from 1,000 subs.
Oh, we got to get that.
Oh, nice.
9
That's
away
exciting.
from 1,000 subs. If anybody can go over there and sub up Gutters Pub, come on. 9 away from 1,000 subs.
Yes.
It
Sweet
would
Jesus.
be greatly appreciated.
9 of you can
Very
sacrifice.
cool.
And yes, it is a sacrifice.
Yeah,
We're almost there.
almost there. That'd be super cool. But yeah, the link is there. If anybody wants to call in and say anything about this topic, you are more than welcome to. If not, we can just BS here for a minute and, kind of run it over. I think the whole thing is pretty crazy. Hey, thanks, Maul. Maul just dropped Katie's link in there as well. So
Oh, good.
anybody who's not
Oh,
subbed
thank
up to
you.
KJ, please jump over there and sub up to KJ. That would be greatly appreciated. But yeah, the whole thing's pretty crazy. It's very plausible to think that the big guy could have got away as well. I mean,
I definitely consider that more plausible than, because to be honest, I didn't even know the actual details. I just knew that he passed away and that it was, supposedly suicide, whatever. So I didn't know even the burning. So
yeah. I mean, imagine just, oh, there he is, just a big pile of ashes and, some bones. Oh,
like,
that's
nah,
definitely him.
I don't think it's going to go down that way.
Take our word for it. We would never lie to you. And it's like, and then the Soviet Union just sitting on it and being like, like not even releasing the stuff until like just a few years ago. Like, well, yeah, here's the bone fragments we have. And they're like, wait, it's not even a man's bones, That's from women.
Yeah,
So we have
that
to
was
wait.
interesting.
We have to wait 40 years for truth to come out.
And
Mhm.
To me, just how my brain works, obviously, everything we talked about Argentina, how they were setting this stuff up for years before the war even started, and their relationship with the Argentina government, stuff like that. Obviously, Hitler knew about all the escape routes and stuff like that. All his underlings did. It's just hard for me to believe towards the end, he was like, no, y'all go. I'm just going to stay here in this bunker with Ava.
I'm going to give them.
It just,
Yeah.
Right.
Like, no.
it's just hard to believe for me.
Yeah,
Well, just
for sure.
throwing some of this out there, just at least from the accounts that I've read and the historical videos that I've watched, I mean, Hitler was pretty strung out on drugs at during the later half of the war, and he had health problems. So who knows if he was even going to survive anyways. So I don't know. I'm still skeptical that he actually went down to Argentina, but that's just me.
And that kind of goes with the conspiracy too, Baker, is that all these people that say that he, the conspiracy, I'm not saying it's true, but that he was in Argentina and different places there, was that he didn't live that much longer once he got there, maybe like 15 more years. He didn't die like in the 70s and 80s like all these other guys did. So that kind of goes.
We do have somebody wanting to come up here. Let's go ahead and bring up. We got Gixer coming up on here. How you doing, Gixer?
Hey, I'm good, Traveling. How are you?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Good to hear from you. Hope everything's going good.
Yeah. So hey, I don't call in often.
No, I like it when you do though.
But I appreciate it. But I have a story for you, and it relates to everything you guys talked about.
I love it.
So I like to sprinkle ex-wife jokes, but
I'm here for it.
I know. So my ex-wife, her sister went to Juilliard. She was an opera singer. Phenomenal. She ended up becoming an au pair in Germany, and she was in Guernsey. And she kept sending the family photos of this big, beautiful mansion that she was living at. Well, one night, my father-in-law at the time, we were watching some Nazi documentary or whatever, some World War whatever. And we're like, that photo that she sent looks just like the house that she's in. And we kept saying like, well, where are you living? Like, what's the guy's name? And she's like, oh, well, he told me to just call him Bob. And we're like, that makes no sense. And long story short, it was like the third guy or the third family, like last name. Anyways, he owned a bunch of hospitals in Germany. He was like the third in control of the Reich. He was like a family, like, he was like the son. He wasn't the actual guy or the grandson. And we asked her like, oh, tell us more. And they're like, well, she doesn't really have a lot of info and blah, blah, blah. But one time we said, well, did they ever move to Argentina or do they have any family in Argentina? And she said that Bob, who owned like all these hospitals in Guernsey, said that half of his family moved to Argentina after the war. So, but I could do some digging. I could look it up, but it was like, literally, it was the guy that was in control of the internment camps, and now his grandson is, owns a bunch of hospitals. And it was a big, beautiful mansion. If you look up to Guernsey, it was like the biggest mansion.
You know how to spell that?
Okay. I mean, I love autocorrect. Tegernse. Yeah, Tegernse. Yeah, Tegernsee.
To Guernsey. And will we type in mansion?
I mean, you're welcome to. I mean,
check it out.
I mean, it's like the biggest place there. And so come to find out, he was part of the Reich, and he told her that half of the family left 20, 30 years ago and all moved to Argentina. And he was one of the like medical doctors.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
No, but traveling. This is like the biggest mansion in Tigray.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of them. That's what I'm trying to figure out. There's like a manor house on the lake here. There's a lot of big places in this town.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
But anyways, so come to find out, when we watched the documentary, we're like, was it this house? And she's like, yes. And I kept wanting to think his first name was Hans, which I know is kind of, like John Doe in Germany. But...
Right, exactly. Oh, Hans. Oh, we all know the German name Hans.
Yeah, he was in Die Hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, when I saw the show tonight, I was like, oh my gosh, I know for a fact but I have pictures. Like I could send you on your email. But I swear, she told everyone. She's like, she came back because in Germany, a lot of people don't know this, but if you're an au pair or you're an immigrant, if you don't pass your test, like you have to take all these tests. If you don't pass the language test and pass all these tests, they kick you out in 2 years.
Oh wow! So how long ago was this that she was?
2016, 17.
Yeah, and it's interesting. See, these people, they didn't lose their money. You know what I mean? They all stayed.
Mm-hmm.
They all stayed rich. They all took that
Right.
money to Argentina. You know, so much of the German money was being funneled down there already. So when you said that they owned a lot of hospitals, where were those hospitals? In Germany or Argentina?
Germany.
Germany. Okay, so still there.
Yeah.
I like it.
But
I
I
like it.
promise you, travel. I'm not lying, bro.
Oh, I believe you. Why would you make a story like that up? That doesn't, you know,
Right?
that would make no sense.
A
To
hell
like,
of a story.
if you're gonna make something up, you know, make something up like, you know, and then they went to the basement and in the wall they found, you know what I mean, like that.
Yeah.
Like,
Right, I
okay,
mean,
Mickey rookie card.
Yeah, but no, she went to Juilliard, and then that was after Princeton, and I always gave her shit because I was kind of like, you know, you're really not a good singer, because like she'd be in my car, and I'm like, you know, I don't understand, but yeah, she spoke French, English, German. I think that was it. Yeah.
Well, what do you think about the topic? Like, what do you think about the conspiracy part of it that we went into? Like, what's your give us your, you know, couple minute, you know, whatever your thoughts.
Yeah.
Let's see what you think.
So my undergrad was in political science and biology. If I was a Nazi, where would I go? Well, you can't go east because of Russia. You don't want to go west as far as like the ally, like, you know, partners. No one's taking a boat to Australia. You can't go to the United States. So you go to South America. I mean, I can't think of any other that makes sense. And then I've watched all those documentaries, which, you know, a documentary has a thesis or a hypothesis, right? Like they're trying to convince you. I mean, that's the thing. But even like 2 weeks ago, I think it was 2 weeks ago on I don't know if it was Drudge or I don't know what it was, but one of the websites where they said that they found like a bunch of Nazi propaganda pamphlets that were stored in a museum for decades. They just uncovered it. You could probably just Google it right now. I mean, I don't believe Hitler went there necessarily, but I think the top brass definitely fled there. And I hate to say this, but I'm kind of a passport bro. So I've dated a lot of girls from, you know, Peru and South America and Argentina and fill in the blank. And I asked this one girl I was dating from Argentina. It was just a hot moment. And I'm like, what do you think of the Nazis? Do you think they moved there? And she just wouldn't even talk to me about it. She's like, I don't have a comment about it, which I thought was really weird.
Yeah, usually silence means yes. You know, like
Yeah.
I think he did go there, though. I think he did go there because of all the different help that had talked about it. Like they have like 6 or 8 different witnesses of just people that actually either worked for him or talked with him or, you know, and, you know, they go into great details about, you know, different things that only they would know about him more or less. So I kind of think he was there.
And that kind of goes into what Baker was saying about his health problems towards the end there.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you watch some of these documentaries, when they interview these locals and stuff, they talk, like Fools brought it up too. Like they talk about the old man with the shaking hand and the cane, you know, kind of matches up with his health issues towards the end there.
and the old man with the shaking hand and the black hair and the mustache and the you know, like all the things, and then being like everybody was afraid of him and, you know, nobody wanted to approach him or you know, like there's it wasn't just some random old man with a cane, you know.
Right.
Well, my thought is this, like, I mean, not to compare him to Elvis Presley or Johnny Cash, but when you're crashing out, I mean, he had to have handlers, right? And the fact that my ex-wife's sister told us that story, and the house looked identical, and I swear it was the guy. You know the guy. You know the documentaries where they're like the doctor that's giving him shots.
Mm-hmm.
That was the guy in
Yeah.
Guernsey. So what I'm part of the family, like the grandson or the son. So do I think Hitler even knew where he went? Probably not. But I definitely think people around him may have very well have facilitated his transfer. But yeah, it's crazy.
You would have thought that at the time of going, he would have known where. I mean, he lost his mind later, but you would have thought. I mean, he lost his mind, so, along the way, in many different aspects. But
Right.
I'm sure he knew if that conspiracy theory is in any way true. He knew where he was going. I mean, like I said, they were already sending all those bonds, sending all the they're shipping out all because they'd plundered Europe for all the artwork, the gold, the everything. They were already moving all that to Argentina before the fall of the Reich. I mean, and that was already happening. That's documented that money was already being moved to South America.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, traveling, have you ever been to El Paso?
No.
Okay.
And I've never fell in love with a Mexican girl.
Oh, well, you're missing out. They're toxic, but they're the best. So let me just tell you this. I was in El Paso. I forgot her name, but it was during COVID. It was 6 months, but it was a lot of fun. But anyways, so she took me. She took me
You
down.
forgot her name.
It was Carla.
I love
She
Gixxer.
worked for-
Gixxer's a great guy. He's funny. He's a funny guy. I like it.
No, it was Carla. She worked for Homeland Security. So, anyways, she took me on this strip like right by the border, and we went in all these like little museums, not museums, I'm sorry, but like little flea markets, and they had all this Nazi memorabilia, like legit Nazi memorabilia, and she made me watch this documentary. And a lot of people don't know this, but the Germans actually reached out to the United States because they wanted to know how the United States was actually treating lice and all the different diseases, and not to call lice a disease, but like all the different things that immigrants were bringing.
I've got the lice.
And the U.S. government was treating them with like powder and all this stuff. So the Germans came over during like the 20s or like maybe a couple of years before that to learn about how we were doing our little, I don't want to call them concentration camps because that's not the case, but it was like how to defleece people. And they took our model and then they used that for the premise of the internment camps in Germany. So that's why in El Paso, there's a ton of Nazi memorabilia outside Fort Bliss.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
But look it up. I'm not lying to you, man.
Huh. Yeah, it's very interesting. What do you think about that, Baker?
I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, other than, I think everybody wants to know how to treat your lice.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm notating. There's lice in concentration camps. Like, I'm just kidding. Anyway.
Listen, elementary schools also want to know how to treat lice.
So, traveling. Are you?
Yes, sir.
Are you checking your traveling contest email?
Yeah, I did. I looked at that a minute ago. I'll have to say I got 5 different screens there. I did. Let me look.
I will in a minute. So I emailed you a moment ago. I sent you a picture of my beer, but I will send you.
Let me check spam. Maybe you're going to spam.
I will send you a link in a second.
Yeah, man, I'm not seeing it. It's Traveling Fools contest.
Yeah, I emailed you.
Let me go.
Do you have an NSF filter on?
I don't even know what that is, so probably not. Let me see. I am going back to that one again right now. I looked at it a minute ago. Oh, I got it. Yes, I do see it. It was in spam on that one. Yes.
Okay. In like 1 minute, I'll send you a link to the El Paso Nazi stuff. So all that to say, I honestly believe he could have very well gone to Argentina. But my biggest support for that is the fact that my ex-wife's sister did all that. She's like, yeah, I'm pretty much working for like the Nazi guy. And he said that half the family and half of his friends moved to Argentina.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it? I mean, it's amazing to think how many of them ended up there, and we're just like covered for. You know what I mean?
Right.
That they didn't sign the same treaties, they didn't do any of that, so they didn't have to turn people over. They didn't have to do any of that. They could just do whatever they wanted to do and tell everybody else to just F off.
Yeah, and you will see that a lot in Texas. There's a lot of German towns that were started by Germans, and a lot of people from South America that live in Texas. You'll see a lot of Nazi stuff around some towns for sure. So I 100% believe that about what you're saying about El Paso.
So if you Google bath riots, that's where we as the United States was treating all these immigrants, and then the Nazis came right near Juarez. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's amazing to think that they would have that many there as well. I mean, the whole thing. I just believe that so much of history isn't what we. They always say that the victor writes the history. And I think a lot of what we always hear isn't real. It's just what they want people to believe, whatever fits the narrative better.
Yeah,
I agree.
So,
Right,
Gick, are you ready
get
for?
off.
Well, hey,
Get off.
before you go, I have one question I ask everybody that comes on here. I don't know what Gutters is doing. She's putting on makeup over there and stuff like that.
It's stick.
KJ's posting on Instagram as we go. Gutters is putting on lipstick, making sure I look good.
That is so not what's happening.
KJ's
So
right.
yeah, you get
what's
women
happening.
on the panel and they're doing all this. But Gixer, I got one question I always ask everybody that comes up on this panel. Did we land on the moon in 1969?
I know. That's how I feel. It's like,
Here's the deal. I was talking.
I love how everybody has
Exactly.
to make prefaces.
I was talking to some friends about this because I was looking at property in McAllen next to SpaceX, and we were hanging out, and I asked them a question. I said, if we went to the moon, why did we never go back? And I said, why is Elon so focused on Mars? I don't think we went, man. I honestly don't.
We went back, according to them, we went back 5 times, but nobody ever talks about that.
Well, but I mean, how many videos do we have of flag? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really think we did.
Yeah, when they land that jalopy on there, the duct tape and the
science project.
Yeah, I don't think we did. If gun to my head, no, I don't think so.
All right, I like that. Okay, and last question: are you ready for college football,
Bro?
No.
Yeah. Are you kidding me? I'm sick of watching all these other beta sports.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Exactly.
Like what's next? Like ESPN pickleball championship. You know what I think is the craziest thing? Have you seen the guys that are slapping each other?
Yes, I love the slap fights.
Oh my gosh, man!
I watched the chicks do it, and
That's
that's
horrible.
crazy. Yeah,
Have you ever been to midget wrestling?
I'm not. No,
I would love
I'm
to.
not
I
gonna
would
do
love
it.
Deny that.
I
I
have
would
no
love to.
interest.
KJ, I'm going to come kidnap you and make you go.
Should we
So
update
if they
everybody
do-
on my RV?
If they do midget slapping, like I'm VIP, like right in the front.
Yeah,
That's
especially if it was
hilarious.
women midget slapping, then maybe KJ would be a thing.
No, it's wow.
This devolved quickly.
Right, exactly. Grand opening, grand closing. Gixer, we do have a cool stream planned for the weekend before week 0. And I'm gonna be doing a show, so make sure you tune into that. You'll like it. We're gonna be pulling on a whole lot of people from all across the college football world to come on and give their thoughts and everything. And hey, man, maybe you might even want to call in. So
All right. Hey, have a good night. And it's wonderful seeing the panel and traveling as always. I always try to tune in when I can. Appreciate you, man.
Man, always appreciate you too, brother.
All right,
Always
bye-bye.
doing it. You're welcome over here anytime you want, man. Always good to have you.
Have a good night.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right, see you,
Thanks
buddy.
for coming up.
Yeah, great job, Gixer. Good call.
Mm-hmm.
All right, there you go. Gixer calling in. I always like to hear from him. Yeah, I don't have anybody else. Here's your last chance. If anybody else does want to call in and give their thoughts, you are more than welcome. We are, getting close to our 2-hour mark anyway, so we always try to keep this under 2 hours. But if anybody else wants to, they are more than welcome to. Gutters, what is your update on your camper?
My update. I was just kidding, but actually,
No, I'm going to make you talk about it now.
Okay, I will. I actually called today, and he said that the electrical is fine, that we just don't know what the hell we're doing. He didn't say that part, but I know that's what he's thinking. And he's right. And that the levelers, the reason they're going down together is because one of the valves is stuck open. So he's getting one of those. What did Mr. Duggar say could get me? A schematic. I don't know. You say it. Anyways, he's getting one of those, and then he'll figure out how to get, fix that part of it, and it should be fixed. He said to talk with him on Monday, so I'm hoping it's going to be fixed on Monday.
I have an update. Since Gutters was talking about her camper, she lost one subscriber in her channel.
Imagine that.
I'm sure it was a coincidence.
Sorry, that was me.
Update everybody.
Yeah, that was
Right.
LW. That was LW.
Can't stand it.
But she is at 993 now. So if we can get 7 more,
993.
Oh, that'd be so awesome.
We need 7 subscribers to go over and fill up the
Subscribe,
Gutters
subscribe.
Pub. Jesus Christ, come on. What do we
Come
have
on,
to do?
people.
Come on, y'all.
What do we have to pay you?
I
Go
know
on.
anybody not subscribed to Gutters Pub, if a mod could drop Gutters link in there real quick. I know Big Dog Ma, you can do it. I would greatly appreciate it, Ma. If you could drop Gutters a link in there, please. If you aren't subscribed to Gutters Pub, please go over there and sub her up.
Yes.
And that would be absolutely awesome.
Be greatly appreciated. We're almost there. 1,000. It's not like you have to look at my sorry face every day. I promise.
I know. That would be great. And Gutters does a great show every Tuesday night. You do Coffee Club on Friday, and Friday nights you're over here, and she does, post her, she rubs in, all her stuff, to us poors about her, luxury lifestyle all the time, and all her airplanes and all that kind of stuff like that. So,
Do you need me to show you? I always have to think about how to do this.
what are you trying to figure out how to do?
I need this shut,
Thank you, Trip.
and then I need this. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna rub it in right there.
So that is actually yours?
That's not mine. That's exactly what mine looks like, though. I just didn't want to pull it off, and so I just found one online. But that's exactly what mine looks like, except it's pointing the other way. Like I flipped the image around, so that's my door. That's supposed to be on the passenger side. So, but yeah,
okay.
that's my rig.
I hope
That's
you get it,
exactly what it is.
working right at least.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you get it working right. Hey, what's up, Anastasia? Good to see you. Good to see Trip in here too. Gixer, great call, man. Thanks for calling in. Big Dog Ma, as always, great to see you. The Island Boy Travels, good to see you in here. Leah Sugar Bridges, good to see you. Baker's in the chat. Just scrolling up. Just want to say hey to some of you people. Thanks for all, everybody that comes in here and does, hang out with us on Friday nights. We try to find something fun to talk about. Tonight's topic was a bit weird, but fascinating to me. I love history.
I agree.
Your history is once you turn 39, that's all you want to think about is history. And
Oh shit! And I've been 39 for quite a while, so
Well, I was gonna say, so just when we're talking about this and you're talking about the Barbie dude and all that. So have you ever seen the movie?
Ken?
Have you ever seen the movie Rat Race?
I think I have.
Okay, so it's when it with John Lovitz and Seth Green. It's so funny. I love it. We watch it in our camper because I have the DVD. And anyway, so in that they're traveling from Las Vegas to New Mexico, and there's some Nazi stuff that they see along the way, and they stop there, and it's they thought it was a Barbie museum.
Right,
For
yeah,
a little
okay.
girl, yeah. And then they
Yes.
get there, and he's like, and he's, you know, obviously Jewish, and he's like, you know, they're like talking about the car that, you know, Hitler had, that they have it, and like all this stuff. Anyway, if you haven't seen the movie, it's so funny, and that just reminded me, you know, that's where my mind goes.
Yeah, they're like the Barbie Museum. Let's stop. They're like,
And then he comes out and he hits his head on the steering wheel, and so he has this little black mark, and he comes out, and it's like the World, you know, two, you know, vets at this thing, and he's like, yeah, and he had like something stuck in his throat, you know. Oh man, it's such a funny movie, and that's where my mind goes, you know.
I totally forgot about that. I totally forgot about it. Then now I remember the movie. When you said that movie name, I was like, I know I've seen it, but I couldn't remember. Now I remember. They're like,
and his little, his daughter's like, you know,
walking her out there expecting to see like a pink Corvette, you know, and
the whole thing is so funny. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, it's like the Illinois Nazis and the Blues Brothers.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, nothing's worse than Illinois Nazis. So, KJ, what are you selling anything cool at this garage sale tomorrow?
Oh yeah, so we actually already sold two. We sold a canoe, we sold a kayak already, but we have like 2XL dog cages and like strollers and like lots of stuff. Yeah, it's gonna be, you know, hot. But it'll be good. It'll be good in the early morning.
It's gonna be hot, and she's gonna make $13.75.
Girl. Look, I already had someone, and they're like, "Keep that," and I was like, "All right, $30 done." I already got $30.
Now, have you put the stuff on Facebook yard sale already, or do you
no? We were going to, but it's been just a long week, and we just
that's kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah. We already put the signs out. And
like if you have one big thing, yeah, you know, or something, you can put it on there and get it. But like to just these people who have like a lamp and a coffee table.
We have lots. I have like a dresser. I have a futon. Like we're selling a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
A futon, huh?
Well, and everything, look, it's priced to where it is. We're not one of those yard sales you go to and you're like, seriously? Like, I'm not paying that for that. We're like, look, it's jacked, you know, $20, you know, just like
how much is the futon?
We're gonna do $20 probably.
Oh, nice. Is it gonna get shape?
Yeah, I mean, it's the only like there's that centerpiece on a futon, a metal one. It's missing, so we've always what is it? What's the little plastic pieces that keep them, you know. Anyway.
I don't know.
It's $20.
We do have one last guest joining us for tonight, though.
Oh, yay.
And I think it's perfect. It'll take us out of here right at 2 hours. So we must welcome in our last guest of the night.
And keep having as many Duggars as possible. So it's going to be a Duggar America, everybody.
Oh, my gosh.
What's up, Mr. Duggar? How you doing? Oh boy. Oh boy.
What are we doing here talking these stuff? No, dude, I love World War II. And you know, there's so many conspiracies about the Hitler's body and all that stuff. And yeah, there's some serious stuff going on about that. Back in them days, you know, we all know they lived in South America, you know, and I don't think he lived another 17 years because he was a pretty big meth head by that time, and his health was really bad. And but yeah, the Vatican helped a bunch of them get out of here to Argentina, gave them money and packed them in and gave them travel and trains, directed them. Not all of them went to Argentina. A lot of them went to Switzerland, and so it's, man, what a bad time in the world. And I think it's almost as bad as that now. You don't know what's going on in this world. There's some evil people here. So, other than that, hello.
Can I break in for a second? Gutters Pub needs one more subscriber for 1,000.
Oh my gosh.
One more. Somebody get on your alt account and push her over.
I've already, that's what I was doing. I was
We need one more, and then she's got something planned. I don't know what it is, but she's got something planned. One more.
24-hour stream. 24-hour stream.
That is why I came up here. I was going to ask how close Gutters was to 1,000.
Oh, I think it's at 1,000.
Oh,
We made it.
Oh, we actually made it. We
awesome.
made it to 1,000 right now.
now.
Now everybody unsubscribe. There we go, Gutters. So you're actually at 1,000 now?
Thank you, everybody. Oh my gosh, yes, we are.
1,000 on the dot.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to you, Gutters. That is absolutely awesome.
Little over 3 years.
Yeah, I'm glad we got to be here with you. And
Yes.
that's a big thing on YouTube to make it to 1,000 subs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Congratulations,
thank everybody out there.
That's awesome.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, thanks everybody that subbed up, Gutters. That's super awesome. I remember it used to be like you had to get to 1,000 just to even be like monetized.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And now they got the 500 thing. So I mean, that's super cool. Look at this. Everybody in here is going woo. Trip says now you have to funnel a beer for us.
Right.
Oh, geez. That'd come out quicker than it'd go down. Trust me.
What was that she's going to show us if we hit 1,000 live?
Yeah, we gotta wait
Marv.
for it back.
I don't know, but her
Arvin.
Tuesday
Right.
show, you better have 2 boxes of wine ready.
Right?
It's
Oh,
a celebration stream.
That wine that I got the other day, the big balls one or whatever that stuff was called, I sent it home with my daughter-in-law. Lord, Mrs. Mack, no way.
Look at that coming in for you there, Gutters Pub.
Holy moly.
Look at that.
Thank you, darling.
Look at that, Mrs. Mack going in there. Oh man, that is awesome.
I'm
Here,
pretty
I'll
sure
I'll
there
play
was-
something. Let me play something for
Okay,
Mrs.
thank
Mack
you.
for you here. There you
Woohoo.
Super awesome.
Yes, thank you so much, Mrs. Mack, and thanks everybody for getting those subs in. Woohoo! I can't.
Yeah,
believe
that's super cool. That is super cool. I'm so glad you got there. That's like I said, that's a huge thing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
that
And
is
we're going to take
amazing.
all the credits because of us. You did nothing.
That's right. Well, I just
Now
had
you
to
can
be
support
here.
now you can support my my salary. It's great. 1,000. No, really, congratulations.
Yes,
Thank
you're
you.
gonna have to give that over there as well. Yeah, I have to pass that on to Baker. We got Gixer coming in there as well. Thank you so much, Gixer. Gixer's maybe he'd like something different than that.
He wants a girl. He wants
Thank
that
you,
girl with Yeah,
Much
that-
appreciated, Gixer. Much appreciated.
Wait.
Love you, brother.
Wait.
that's the one.
Oh, she's pretty.
Uh-oh.
I liked her. Yes, I did.
I'm worried. He said, "Okay, wait," and then he said, she's pretty." I'm worried.
How you doing, Mr. Duggar?
Hey, dude. I just came back onto internet land. I was off for 2 days. They had something die in the server, and so I jonesed and I need to go online, man. And it stayed up for about 6 hours after they got up, and it went down for another day. And I got it. It finally came back on about whatever. Didn't I see you this morning, Gutters?
You did.
Okay, that's when my internet had just come on, and it went off at 2:00 the previous afternoon. So it was getting kind of frustrating. Yeah, actually it was, truly was. But but what really hurt.
So you've been without internet for 2 days?
Yeah. Wi-Fi too.
Wi-Fi too? Internet and Wi-Fi?
Yeah. I'm telling you, dude. I'm in the mountains. I have big tall fir trees and pine trees out by my house. Turkeys walking through my yard. Deer.
So did you actually have to, with no internet, you actually go outside and like find something to do instead of it's kind of nice without internet and things like that sometimes.
I read a little Bible, played a little bit on. I did have a little bit on my telephone. But it's kind of hard for me to see that kind of shit. I'm getting up there in years. I was in a pissed off mood anyway, so
Mr. Duggar, you're the youngest 39-year-old that we know.
I'm 42, and just tell the truth, I'm 42. I'm in my 40s.
Okay,
but yeah, man, I'm just getting excited. It's the fish ought to be through spawning here soon, and I'm gonna go down there and catch me a few of them. I was supposed to go this last week, but didn't because I had other things to do. I got a few house deals in the fire and a couple of cars and trucks. I have to get busy every once in a while and make me a little extra cash, so I can go do what I want to do, without that tax my savings.
Well, you don't want to talk about that on here,
I don't care. It don't bother me.
Don't mention the T word.
I'm crazy as hell. Come on, get you some.
So Duggar, I'm back onto the topic. Well, I mean, when did you think about all that? You do you?
Dude, it was a lot of it was really blatant. They started scattering and like rats leaving a ship. But the higher echelon, it was more secretive. Most of them ran through the Vatican once again, and by that time, Russians were on the outskirts of Berlin, and the U.S. was coming in. So it was time for them to leave, and they did, and a lot of them got away. And that's why they had them fight to the last man to give them a head start. And that's right. That was the orders given. You fight to the last man when they finally say, "Hey, why are we fighting? We're not in charge of shit. Here's my gun." And they finally quit fighting. And of course, there were still people warring all over the country because they didn't, the Russians were serious about trying to kill off the German people. Trust me. If they had a chance to do to the Russian people what they wanted, it'd been just like the Germans did to the Jews. But they were mad. They were trying to wipe out Russia. And the Russians, a lot of people died defending that country, as well as ours. And the Germans were way more. So, I mean, it's coming to an end, and a lot of them got away through all the chaos, and that was their last string hold was Berlin, but there's some outskirts towns that's where they set off from. They've seen the final.
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird. It wasn't really like just to clarify one thing. It wasn't really the Vatican doing it. There was, actual archbishops and different priests and different, contacting each other, and they were doing it through the Red Cross. It wasn't really the Vatican doing it, but it was. Yes, there was Catholic priests that were helping facilitate that and make that happen, but it wasn't technically the Vatican.
It went up to the Pope. Don't kid yourself.
maybe not, but we do
Well,
know that.
because the reason he was wanting to get him out of there because he had a big store of the gold from the Germans in the Vatican, and he was, they bought their way out of there. And
Thanks, Jesse. We'll get started now. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm here. You can start the show. Thank you very much.
If you do, I eat and breathe this shit. I love World War II movies. I love literature on history, documentaries. I was really into the planes and the armaments they used back in them days. And,
I miss when History Channel used to actually do history, because there was nothing more comforting than World War II for some reason. Like if you grew up in our generation, you would like go to sleep at night, turn the History Channel on, and you could just close your eyes because you would hear and as the Allied troops advanced through, blah, blah, blah. And you could close your eyes. You knew it was going to be a picture of a tank with a bunch of people walking. It didn't really matter. You could just sit there and listen to that droning and droning and droning in history. And it was, it was a lot of fun to listen to. And just, such an interesting.
Really?
Well, a big part of my uncles fought in that war, and because, it was 15 years after the war or 14 years after the war ended, World War II ended. Hey, y'all got a Mr. Duggar, so my kinfolk all fought in that war. And my great uncles, and they were in Greece still. And when they first started taking over our family, what was left of them, took a sponge boat and landed off in North Carolina and ended up in Alabama. So,
what is a sponge boat?
Is a boat like the shrimp boats that they catch sponges. They dove for sponges.
Oh, okay.
And about 35 of them made it here on that little boat because they were fishing. They were fishing for food and that kind of stuff, and planning to do it because the Germans were taking over Greece and stuff like that. So
look at that. I love going over. I'm over on Gutterspubs right now. I'm typing in yo over there. Just to see that 1K. Just to see that 1K.
I know.
That is so awesome.
I'm so excited. Thank you, everybody. I can't believe it.
If she had a little tail, it'd be wagging right now, man.
I think her tail is wagging right now.
I know. I did see her kind of shake a little bit.
Yeah. definitely giddy right now.
Yeah, definitely a cloud 9 for sure. I kept waiting for the numbers to change,
Congratulations, love. You're
Thank you.
My favorite people in the whole wide world. You are.
Aw, thanks.
One of these days, I hope to get to hug your neck and shake my hero's hand.
You will. You will. In March.
Yeah, right on. Cool.
Yeah, you gonna make it over there and hang out with us in March, Mr. Duggar? I think KJ. I'm gonna make sure KJ goes with us.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. I already forgot what dates and all that. So
well, don't live that far from you. I'll make you go hunt her down. I'll drag your ass out there to go find her. Come on, girl.
No, we're definitely that's definitely gonna happen. You're gonna make sure KJ gets there. LW's
I would love
be there.
it.
Duggar, you better be there as well.
I could damn sure do it, probably.
Well, you better do it.
I need it. I need a vacation.
There's not many chances. That's one thing about life is every day the next day happens, and every day the next day happens. Every day the next day happens. You blink, and next thing you realize that it's not there anymore. I think, speaking of, I think the Macklins will be there in the chat, and once again, appreciate everything you do over there, Mrs. Mack coming in over there with Gutters. That is super cool. And there'll be a lot of people that are really nice people and good friends of all of ours. That, I can't wait to see Mrs. Mack, Mr. Mack, see Gutters, see LW. We might be able to talk Baker into it. I think we're working on it. We've got a few more months to make this happen, but
Negative Ghostwriter.
the Mr. What do they call that when you are a extrovert? You're an extrovert, right, Baker?
Or introvert.
I know. I'm throwing it the other way.
No. I'm proud of my introvertness.
Hey,
You're not going to go? Seriously?
No, I'm not going to go.
Come on, forget about it. You got to
Get
go.
about it, bada bing, bada boom. No.
Bada boom, bada bang. You got to be there.
You can be there. Why can't you go? You can be there.
I'll be washing my hair that day.
No, you won't.
All three of them.
All right, all three of them. Yeah, it's funny because I think KJ could probably say I'm kind of an extrovert more than introvert. And
yeah, and I'm the same.
And so is KJ. I mean, like,
Yeah.
you know, you walk into a room, you've known everybody your whole life. As soon as you walk in, I know Mrs. Fools, it drives her crazy. She's like, everywhere you go, you talk to everybody. You know, I'm like, yeah, you know. She's like, you don't even know these. Do you know them? I'm like, no, I don't know these people, but I'm going to talk to them. I'm just, you know, like everywhere
It's nice
you go,
to
you
meet
talk.
people
Right,
and
it is
talk.
people.
Yeah,
I do have a habit of talking. That's how come
I love it.
I get annoyed with the kids in the store that I talk about where they won't talk at you and they look like you talk to you. They look like you have three heads when you say something to them like, wow, the store sure is busy today. They're just like,
Well, that's
I'm like,
because
Answer me.
you
Respond.
get that point of being an old 39 where you're like, boy, the store sure is busy today, ain't it? How's the weather gonna be tomorrow?
And the tomatoes are on sale.
Can you help me find a nice cucumber?
still, I mean, they cannot do small talk at all. I mean, they can't do no talk. If you ask them where something is, they can't tell you either. They
Well,
can't
the
even
problem
do
with
their
that
job
new generation, though, is so much of their life has been lived on phones and through,
Absolutely.
you know, not through actual human interaction.
Socialization.
Right, like us
Yeah.
growing up. I mean, you know, we all had a chalkboard or something like that sitting in our houses. You know, you get home and it would be like written down who called you and who didn't, and that's all you knew. You know, you get home and it would be like there was the message board. You'd go up and look and say, "Oh, dang
You
it, Mary,
had a message board?
who did you?" I mean, come on, you had.
I
to
didn't have a mess. No. They'd always just be like, yeah, they called. You had another phone call today.
Yeah, mine was always like Mary Jane Rottencrotch called 92 times, and
Mary Jane
Rotten crotch.
Crotch. That is. I
know that.
remember her.
I dated her too. Oh, that picture! I meant to bring that picture up of us when we were young.
What?
Damn it.
Yeah.
That
Is
was-
that
I'm
not
gonna-
funny?
I can't load it now, but I'll do
You
that.
mean
on a
the
different-
one with the unibrow?
He just like he totally did not have a
Hey, it's
uni.
not a unibrow. I don't know why you're saying.
No, it's just two caterpillars.
No,
Yeah, I
it
didn't-
wasn't.
It's just.
I
a-
saw the
I am
picture and I
so
was like,
bringing
what?
it.
why would you say that? Why would you say that KJ has a unibrow?
I know.
You,
No,
you
I know I
dummy.
didn't. I worked at that. All right.
Oh, you got her detective move on that one. Holy.
Look at this.
Where's she coming from?
All right, I'll be right back, and we're gonna wrap this up in about 5 minutes. We've just hit right at the 2-hour
Look
mark
at
that
those
we'd like to get to.
caterpillars.
So let's let look at that handsome guy. That's not a unibrow. It's definitely two
Those are
eyebrows.
caterpillars.
Look at that
Both of
hair.
Oh my.
Look at that hair. Oh my God, what a handsome young guy that was.
He looks high as fuck.
Okay, go away,
Oh,
and I'll say
I'm sure
something positive. Okay, go away.
Zip it, KJ.
Go pee.
Yeah.
Or-
Say something positive.
I will as soon as he leaves.
He ain't gonna leave now.
That's funny.
Hey, did he go?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, he
he's
got it.
sitting there. He's just waiting for me to say something. I ain't gonna say it. He's an ugly bastard, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's got a really nice smile in his face. Look at that. Don't tell him that shit though, because that shit goes straight to his head.
Is that not? Yeah.
He's just
Yeah.
cheesing it up.
And then look at little sway thing here.
Dude.
Look at that hottie. Holy mother of Toledo.
She's still hot.
Calm down, Duggar. Calm down.
Hey.
Aw.
You
I'm like,
mind your own
thank you.
business there, introvert.
Who's the other one?
That's one of my dearest friends.
Okay. I didn't
Yeah.
want to
And
show her.
we're still oh, she super beautiful.
Yeah, she's pretty. I just
Inside and
didn't want-
out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah. But yeah, we all used to have so much fun together for sure. Good times. That was a pageant night.
You were a what now?
That was a pageant night.
I remember that night.
Yeah.
Yeah, pageants. When I was in that pageant, yeah.
Yeah, I bet you were.
He's the only one that could fade the pink tutu.
In the pageant dress. He's under it. We know where he was.
Dang, Gutters. Dang, you give me too much credit. Give me too much credit.
Yeah.
So funny.
See Trip in here and Multi as well. Big Dog Mall. Yeah, and all you people that come in here.
Y'all
That's
rock.
totally awesome. I love Mall. I love everybody that comes here. We got a really nice community over here. It's always nice. So good to see everybody that comes in here, whether you're watching over on X or you're watching on Gutters, you're watching on LWs, you're watching over here on my channel. Just good to see everybody.
Yep.
So, always a lot of fun. So anybody got any last words before we wrap this one up?
Oh, he was the pole dancer at the pageant.
Ooh, Hitler?
I'm just
God, dang.
Oh, TF
It
was
was
the
a-
old
it
dancer
was-
at the
yeah.
pageant.
I just had to read that real
Uh-huh.
quick. He's like, Hitler?
Who's
Yes,
putting
I
that in?
actually
Miss
heard
Mall.
that.
Well, he probably provided. No, I'm going to shut up.
Yeah.
Oh, go
All right.
ahead.
No,
See,
no,
yeah, let's go
not.
ahead and burn this ground. Really great show tonight.
No, we've done
You
really
got-
good. Let's not do that. But we do need to. We need to explain that on Sunday, you have changes. Friction will not be at
Yeah.
trivia.
Yeah, I was going to get to that.
Okay.
I just figured I'd let everybody, say their piece before that, and I'd kind of go last, But yeah, if you want to go ahead and butt in front of there, you're more than welcome.
You know what? You just shut up. I knock your ass out.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh, man. Well,
That's
I
funny.
enjoyed the show tonight. It was very fun. I love hanging out with you guys and everybody in the chat. Thanks for supporting. And Jixer, Mr. Duggar, thanks for showing up. And congratulations to Gigi, Gutters Pub, for the 1K.
Yes, so cool.
Well deserved. If anybody deserves it, it's Miss Gigi. So
Thank you. I'm
love
excited.
everybody.
She's wiggling again.
All right. Well, Gigi, you're up. Go on ahead and tell us what you got. LW, wait, before that, you got anything going on this week? You got anything you want to shout out or anything like that?
No, I'll be on vacation next week. So I'll be MIA next week, but we'll see you the week after that.
All right. There you go. All right, Gigi, take it away, lady.
Alrighty. Thank you so much for the 1,000 subs. Y'all rock. Thank you, Mrs. Mac, for the super chat. Much appreciated. It will go to a camera, just so everybody knows I'm getting one. Yeah, we will see you in the streets of YouTube soon. But thank you so much.
All right. There we go. KJ, what you got coming up for us?
I'm actually going to be gone next week as well, but so much fun tonight and such good info that I didn't know anything about, and I appreciate it. So super cool. Thanks everyone for coming out and spreading the love, and whoop whoop. That's it.
Well, and you did put out, a cool video the other day. So tell people why they should sub you up. I mean, go on ahead.
For sure. So, yeah, I sing and I play and I write my own stuff, and I'm just trying to put myself out there. So, sub it up, and hope you like it, and leave me some comments, and I'd love to chat. Yeah.
There we go. All right. What about you, Baker?
I had a blast putting this show together today. I do appreciate you guys and the team in general putting up with my OCD-ness. So appreciate everybody. Gutters, congratulations on 1,000. That's going to go a long way to my next salary negotiation.
That's right. That's right.
I never would have guessed that Baker was OCD. I mean, I
No,
never
me either.
would have guessed that.
I do a
Um,
really good behind it.
Yeah. On that billboard.
What's up, Ghost Eagle? Good to see you, man. All right, Duggar, you got anything coming up, man?
Hey, Mr. Duggar, I'd never know, when the big boss calls me and tells me to communicate with the Earthlings that I have an invasion. I just want to thank you for having me up here tonight. And it's great that you're bringing up stuff like history, because the trend lately is to do away with our history, not to teach it to our kids or the people here. A lot of them are probably surprised about a lot of stuff, and maybe it'll make them go crack open a book or pull some, I doubt the book, but at least look something up on the old internet web here and try to find out what their history is about. There was a lot of scary history, and when I started looking over about history, it led me back to the pre-Roman days, and even other. It's so far back, man has been feuding. There's always been somebody that wanted to control everybody, but Hitler was our latest and greatest evil bastard. So thank y'all for having me, and be too cool, man. Everything here is just beautiful and dandy with Mr. Doug, and Mr. Duggar loves everybody. And y'all have a great evening. Thanks for coming, chat.
All right, we appreciate you, Mr. Duggar. As always, you're an awesome person, and we do want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Everybody for hitting the thumbs up. TK asked the question, why can't she see Mrs. Mack? You are on one stream, she is on another. This is syndicated out to multiple streams. 168 people watching right now, so we do appreciate each and every one of you out there. Let me I was hoping Duggar wouldn't drop down just yet, so I wouldn't have to change this. But there we go. Yeah, we do appreciate everybody watching. We do hope everybody has hit the thumbs up. Thank you so much for just little on me coming in with the super sticker. Mrs. Mack in there as well. Geeks or Squid. I do also want to say thanks to Jason T coming in on the Cash App, as well as Jesse coming in on a Cash App as well. Thank you so much. That is really appreciated. We play you something fun. We do like to say thanks. Yeah, thanks so much for everybody who did come in, Cash Apps, Super Chats, all that kind of jazz like that. It does help us keep these going, paying for, these programs like StreamYard and stuff like that. We really do appreciate all the support. And on that note, like Gutter said, Sunday night, I think Gutters is hosting Trivia Night with me. Friction is going to be out of town, so Gutters is going to come in there, I think, right, Gutters?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So Gutters is going to be doing Trivia Night, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, real time on Sunday night. So everybody do make sure you tune in there. We always have a really good time there. So any last words from anybody else?
Nope.
So no. All right. Thanks so much, everybody. And we will see you soon. We'll have a great topic for you next Friday night. And thanks again, everybody, for being here.
You're listening to the ASN Podcast Network.